I picked the wrong intro. This is Down the Vlog of Many Things. How you folks doing tonight? This show is going to just be like, we're going to wing this. With me are my compatriots, as always.
Steve?
Tenkar?
And Tom.
Okay. We're going to try to be on our best behavior tonight.
No, we're not. No, we're not. Screw you, Don.
This is demonetized right off the bat.
No, I didn't drop the F-bomb. I'm waiting for a full 50 seconds before I do that.
Okay. Yeah, we got to at least wait 1 minute. Foogly, how you doing? The times on YouTubers all over the place. Yeah, you did. Yeah, this is all over the place. Tonight's show, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to, first of all, but in tonight's show, we're going to talk a little bit about an incident that happened at DragonCon involving a creator who was accused of using AI, and I have went to her website, so I have something to say about that. Mike Burke, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. We're also going to talk about a little bit about Satine Phoenix, and the reason why we're talking about Satine is because Redemption. Satine has been going on a Redemption tour as of late. She went on to a YouTube channel, was interviewed for over an hour this past week, and Eric did a short bit about it. We're going to kind of get a little bit more deeper into it, and all the regular scrolls are present, Foogly. We're going to see what else kind of nuts we can shake from the tree.
I didn't like that turn of phrase, deeper into it.
Neither did I. I've been talking about squirrels and nuts present, so guess what? We're going to see where this show goes tonight. So, gentlemen, how are y'all tonight doing?
Good.
Tom, Steve, Tom,
Doing
Eric.
Good.
I can't complain.
I see Tom put his headphones on wisely.
Can I charge yet? But we're gonna go with them.
Can't hear you at all, Tom. You're dead to the world.
Oh, no.
I said I plugged them in for a minute to see how long. We'll see how long they last.
Okay.
So let's kind of take the higher hanging fruit on the tree. Let's talk about DragonCon first. A little bit of backstory for those of you who do not know is there was a creator at DragonCon in the Artist Alley, who other creators were accusing of selling AI generated art. They involve law enforcement, evidently. So I guess from what I've read, the creator was not very cooperative with leaving. So law enforcement was brought in, and they were forcibly told to leave, or arrest was going to happen. She opted to leave, and then they put a cute little sign on it because, of course, it's social media. We all got to get the photo up that said, "This AI creator is gone." Blah blah blah.
That.
Thias says deeper into it. Squirrels nuts is definitely an episode already. All right, you got that, Thias. Now.
Not gerbils, all right? Shush.
Not gerbils. We're not talking about Richard Gere here, okay? So basically, what is my compatriots in crime here thinking about AI being sold, and what does the chat think about AI being sold at conventions?
If it's clearly labeled, that's fine. It's just that, if you're out there doing AI and claiming it as your own and your original work, no, forget that. You either label it or get the heck out.
So my understanding is that this person was one of two that were accused. We'll use the word accused of selling AI art. I guess the other one went, okay, yeah, whatever, I'm out. And this one,
argued, claimed that her art was not AI.
Now, but my understanding was that they argued that their art was not AI, and I've heard, I wasn't following this closely. I didn't cover this on my channel, but I have heard through other sources that apparently with DragonCon you got to show samples of your art in order to be part of artist.
That I will verify. DragonCon requires you to do a demonstrative sample of your booth setup and your art, which a lot of conventions do.
Right, and apparently the art that they showed was not reflected in the art that they were selling.
Okay, now in defense of the AI artist, I'm using AI artist because that's what they're calling her. I went to her website because we now know who it was. And I went to her website where she sells her artwork at, and I will say this. there was absolutely no hint of AI generated art on her website.
Okay.
Okay. I looked at it thoroughly. I could tell nothing was AI generated. I can tell you what she does. Like she, as example, will buy like Star Wars helmets, and then she paints them and sells them for $1,500 because it's art. She also
I'm gonna run fucking
does,
business. Jesus.
yeah, she does a lot of mixed media type stuff. So like she'll take a photograph and then you can tell she paints over it. She does a lot of Star Wars stuff.
Okay.
So she paints over it and then like adds like weird colors and such, which a lot of artists do. Now, I did not see, no one that I've seen has posted a picture of the art that she was selling. That could have been different.
Right.
But in my earlier video I did on a vlog of many things, just a little quick 10-minute video, I pointed out that there's one critical thing that nobody is talking about here. And that is, if DragonCon has in their policy that Artist Alley guys and gals sign up for and sign saying no AI art, then that's a reason to boot. But if there is no policy, and I don't care if there's a written policy on their website, if there's not a policy that they make them sign as part of their agreement, then that's not binding to them.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yep.
to me, there's a lot of information missing here. Yes, it's interesting news.
There's one point here that I don't know has been addressed, is that, and we've discussed this. I know we've discussed this a couple of times, is that sometimes people are like, Don, you've had this. You've been accused of you're doing AI. You know, and you're like, no, I can show you the receipts of my Photoshop process.
Yep.
And people are still like, no, I know it's AI. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just jealousy at that point.
Could that have been what was going on? Were there other artists going,
Well,
I think you're doing AI?
Well, Fugly says something very interesting here, and this is the biggest fault I have with people. And Fugly, not you, I'm talking about what she said, is depending on the AI detector, right there. First of all, you can rely on AI detectors, and they're absolutely worthless shit. Because Tom, didn't you do like images of your cat, and they said it was like 90% AI?
I took a photograph of my cat, and it was like 89% it's AI.
Tom, you're not real yourself, so I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're all bots.
But that's the whole point. I mean, people.
Cat is an asshole. Maybe she is AI. Maybe she's here from the future.
But like I'll give another prime example. And for those of you on my personal page, I actually posted about this. Is I do pencil art. And I did a pencil artwork of a dungeon door. My wife has it in her sewing area. And I posted that into a group, and I got accused of it being AI. And I said, no, it's not. And here come the long list of art experts stepping up going, AI detector, I know AI when I see it. And I even did a close-up of the drawing that I did in the frame for my wife. And I still got called full of shit, and it was AI. So, you know, yes, we can tell if things are AI if they're dramatic AI, like 9 fingers and weird shit like that.
Frodo of the Nine Fingers and
Yeah.
the Ring of Doom.
But again, the problem I have with all of this is everybody showed the cute little image of the sign on her booth. Everybody said it was AI. Everybody has pictures of the cops at her booth, but nobody's posting pictures of her art. And I think that tells me a lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, are we dealing with a situation where, frankly, was she getting a lot of traffic at her booth and a lot of attention, and a couple of jealous other creators went AI?
Oh, probably.
You know, but let's just say, for argument's sake here for us in the chat, let's say she was using AI. Is that reason to boot a creator out of a convention? Thoughts, opinions, everybody? Chat?
Well, I think that it was spot on before. If it's not in the policy, I mean, you might not like it as a consumer or as another artist, but if it's not in the con's policy that it's verboten, then
I looked at the DragonCon policy on their website, and I and I may be wrong, but I could find nothing that says AI is not allowed to be sold at a convention or at the convention of the booth. I have seen there was some comments about, you know, AI advertising and things like that, but nothing that I seen. And then a couple people corrected me. Death Angel Shadow, I have no clue. We ran into an issue. Tom found it right before we did the show. There was an issue with the video not showing up. So my apologies for 645. I don't know where that came from. It's Restream doing something wonky, or I did something wonky. My apologies.
Oh.
But we figured you're here, right?
You're here.
You're
Yes,
here.
I'm here.
So you are on the top half of the IQ.
Yeah,
Oh,
we got 38 people right now watching our stream. So not
That's
bad.
pretty good.
So Thayas says, if you're going to after AI art at a convention, then you need to stop allowing people doing unlicensed fan art of IP they don't own as well. To do otherwise is pure hypocrisy. Absolutely, because you go to any convention, what do you see? Marvel, superheroes, DC, and all that, and these people don't have licenses.
Star Trek, Star Wars.
And I will admit that as a person who does, a lot of movie prop type models, I am building right now a 40-inch Enterprise Z. It's not a legitimate licensed kit. It's from a garage maker, albeit a nice kit, but a lot of stuff I do in the Star Wars and Star Trek areas is not officially licensed stuff. So that's a really good point you make, Thayas. Fugly says the art is 50% curation. Even using AI as a tool, there is just much art in the presentation. Scott Mulder says depends on the policy or if the vendor's presence is causing a disruption. There wasn't a lot of good info on the story, a lot of conflicting reports. Some say there was a policy, some say no. That's exactly with me. They're just, it's weird what was left out. Usually in a situation like this, people would be proud to show the art and go, see, look at that crap.
Yeah.
And now it's like you can't even find images of it.
We'll show you a picture of a cop standing at a booth.
Yeah.
I think they were wrong. I think DragonCon was wrong. And if they didn't have the policy, they're wrong to kick her out. However, the way you make it right is you go, look, we got too much of an uproar from all the other artists. We really need you to leave. We'll give you back your money if you just leave quietly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the offer you make. And, that would have made it right because that would have made the individual whole.
But Tom, they wouldn't be whole because they probably had expenses to get to the con, expenses for a room,
hotel.
It's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you're going to tell them to leave and you're going to try to make them whole, you're going to have to go, oh, and by the way, here's a $500 bribe. Shut your mouth.
Well, but my argument as somebody who is a vendor there, my argument would be this. What do you mean my booth is causing disruption? Tough shit. If they can get over it, sorry, my booth is getting attention, and I would say, and their art is so lame that they can't get attention. As long as she's not going like, hey, everybody, hey, you, come here, not being, because a lot of conventions have that rule. You can't catcall.
Then, I mean, if we know who she is, why don't we get her on the show? I'm sure she's going to come on the show.
I reached out to her in all fairness, and the email that I got back was, we are not commenting on the incident. We are pursuing legal action potentially.
Ooh.
Okay. Whatever.
So evidently they're not laying down and taking this, but they're being smart. They're keeping them mouth shut. I don't blame them.
Okay. Well, all right.
But Thayas goes, you might be right, Scott. Death Angel Shadow says, now DC is going to get a lawsuit. Just wait. Probably. And if they're wrong, they deserve it. Sorry for shaming them like that. Can you imagine having to pack up on a Saturday at DragonCon? People people weren't being nice there because they're very proud of what they did. Thayas says, Mike, I'm getting a boo this man vibe from that comment. Scott Mulder says, I don't mean to cast shade, but there's also a lot of controversy coming out about the original creator of DragonCon. Yeah, so it may be opening a can of worms that cast shade on the whole con production. So, yeah, crazy thing happened at DragonCon. Mike Burke says,
because it's a con doesn't mean it's run well.
Exactly. And just because it's a popular con that's been around for a lot of years does not mean it's run well either.
Yeah,
Right.
Shame that people like Frank Menser posted their details publicly feels a bit like mob justice without evidence. If that artist is innocent, then their name was totally. That's right. Frank did break out who the convention person was.
Well, let me just say this is because that's a great comment from Mike Burke where he says Shane, concerning Frank Metzer. Was that, or do I have the wrong person? I'm trying to read.
Mike Burke said it. Yes.
Yeah. So Frank Metzer actually had a mob justice issue in his past where he was accused and then he was blacklisted and blackballed. And he was like, "I'm innocent, man," and then he was like selling off his collection on eBay to make a few bucks to pay for medication. And I was like, "Sure, if you sign this module, I'll bid on it," type of thing. And I think I got Isle of Dread from Frank, and for some reason he threw a chick track in there against D&D.
Well, come on, you're always into chick track.
Well,
and I asked him about it. He goes, "I was just laying around. He threw it in there."
But the thing is Death Angel Shadow says the people were leaving nasty signs on their table too. Yeah, and they were taking, of course, putting on social media. Everybody's like praise the people who stood up to this AI using person. John D says Redemption Tour, Pornhub again. We'll get in that in a few minutes. But the thing here is with me is just if you're dealing with a convention with unclear policies, and even if they have clear policies, there's better ways of handling it than doing it, I believe, than the way DragonCon did, because you're really embarrassing a creator. And if you are a convention organizer and you are pointing a finger at somebody for something like that and you're wrong, it's actionable. I mean, it's like legitimately actionable, because now my name's been released. You've sullied my reputation. I'm now, known as an AI artist when I'm not. There's all kinds of things that can be thrown out here like that. And
you better be ready to man up if you're going to be making accusations like that.
And her Facebook page is now gone because I went to it before it was down, and people were posting nasty vitriol on her Facebook.
Oof.
Just nasty stuff. So
mob justice is the worst.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think I sent you that link about that Polish CEO who snatched the hat from the kid at.
Oh my God! Stupidity.
Yeah. But there's another company. The name is almost exactly the same, except there's a hyphen in the middle of it. It's this Polish word, and so that company was getting all sorts of hate email and vitriol from the mob justice.
Yeah, they're like, "What'd we do?"
And that CEO, his surname is very similar to the other assholes. Mm-hmm. So this poor guy is like, what?
Yeah. And DragonCon allowing people, like Scott Mulder makes a good point. And DragonCon, not only that, but was allowing people to put nasty signs on their table.
All right.
And by letting it happen, they were letting it happen. I mean, it's the con's responsibility to ensure that things like this don't happen. So I think that this is not over yet. I think that DragonCon, I think, is going to see, and this is a good lesson to conventions, period. I run a convention. Right. And, you got to be real. It's like, you guys know about this. We had a vendor at WizardCon who had a service dog. And the service dog was growling at people. And the hotel got complaints and asked me to go up to him and say, hey, you got to leash your dog. I was very uncomfortable doing that because as a convention organizer, that's a service dog.
But a service dog
should be under the control of the person it is in service of. Absolutely.
Not wandering the grounds.
I got to ask the question, was it a service dog or an emotional support animal? Because those are two different things.
I don't, well, in Michigan, they're one thing. In Michigan, they're classified as one thing. And,
it takes $6,000 to train a service dog, but people just get a dog and they put a little vest on it saying
no, in Michigan, Michigan requires that you have to license your dog as a service dog. There's a process. It's not $6,000. It's something real cheap, but
no, it's not $6,000 to license it. It's $6,000 to train a.
Yeah, but Michigan doesn't have those requirements.
Is what he's saying.
Yeah, I can have a dog and I can license it as a service dog even if it's my Chihuahua. But Michigan has strict requirements. The dog has to, there's things that has to meet. This guy's dog, I don't think met it, but he was grumbling about it, but he never really threw much of a fit. Because I put it on the hotel. I was like, hey, the hotel's asking me to ask you this. Go talk to the hotel,
It sounds like he kind of knew he might have been not quite.
He was at it. He had attitude.
This guy was joyful. Trust me, Eric. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember the dog the dog. This guy's looking at a table on one side. The far side, the dog is like sniffing out drugs or something. I have no idea. But the dog was on a mission, and it had nothing to do with him. It wasn't like, oh, I've got the infinite leash on the dog. No, the dog's only leash was in the owner's mind. It didn't exist.
Grognar TX says North Texas RPG allowed a vendor to have her dog with her. It was great. Okay, first of all, we allowed him to have the dog also.
Right.
I have no problem with service animals, but you know what? When you have a service animal, you have a responsibility also as that service dog's owner. And if you're not having a legitimate service dog, if it's just your pet dog, then it's not a service dog. Don't claim it is.
Yeah.
Just because you want an excuse to have your dog come in the convention with you.
Your dog, if they're going to wander on their own, should at the very least have a fucking badge. All right?
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Here's another thing about Michigan is if you have a vest on it and it says service dog, you better be carrying the license for that service dog, or the cops are going to have a very long conversation with you.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Fugly says we had a service dog foster trainer at my old work. The pup was acclimated to people among high school students, went through all sorts of training, eventually failed the dog test. Yes. Scott Mulder says he was mean to the dog too, called it stupid.
Yes.
Yeah. He called his dog, come here, stupid. And he wasn't.
That's his pet, because my dad called our dog stupid. Hey, stupid.
Yeah.
That was his pet.
Yeah. And Dave Grognar says, yes, it was just his pet. I agree with you. David Thompson says service dogs should be licensed regular. They are in Michigan pretty heavily, but stores are afraid to say anything because people get on their Facebook and their YouTube and they make a video of, now you're the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Thyatis made a snarky comment about the Komodo dragon being somebody. And I just want to say there was a news report once about a Florida man bringing his emotional support animal on a plane. What was that emotional support animal? It was an alligator.
But see, that's just it. You get people, and this is the problem. You get people that abuse the right. And that's why people, when they talk about their Second Amendment right or their free speech right, I'm like, wait a minute, stop. That's why we have laws, because laws temper rights. That's why I can't scream fire in a movie theater. Why? It's my First Amendment right, is it? No, because there's laws tempering my right.
People have died with that happening.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the thing is that's why I talk about service animals like this, is because if you have a service dogs, you can usually tell. They sit by their owner. They're very cognizant of their owner. They
don't try to engage with strangers.
No, not at all. Yeah. And, it is what it is. But we'll see. DragonCon, we'll see if it's in the news in the coming few months. We'll see if this creator does.
This story is not over with yet.
Probably not. So, all right. Redemption.
I can't be redeemed. I'm sorry. I tried it. It didn't stick.
Okay, Satine Phoenix. Tom's getting his headphones on.
I can't hear it.
I love it. Tom's smart man. So basically what is going on here is, for those of you who don't know, Satine is on a redemption tour. What she's doing is, this started about 6 months ago with her Instagram. She basically turned her Instagram into a tell-all tale about how horrible Jameson Stone was to her. I mean, she's posting the receipts. Of course, the chat receipts are one way only. She doesn't say what she says, but she shows what Jameson says. And she is yada, yada, yada. So in this attempt to get back to, I think her attempt to get back in the game, and she went on a hour and 15, hour and a half long interview, right, Eric? Would you call it that?
All right. So listen, when this channel has guests on, whether it's on Don's side here at the Log Many Things, whether it's my side at Tankar's Tavern, we have people on live. And the reason why we have people on live is because it's not scripted. We don't have questions that are pre-approved. And I actually did have somebody who wanted to do pre-approved questions.
Remember, Ken Whitman tried that shit, and we told him no.
Yeah. And you know, listen, I knew when Ken wanted to come on, I said this is his attempt at reinventing it and whitewashing. And sure enough, Ken tried to do the I had to be on. I was going to be in the background just managing the chat and stuff, and he insisted I had to be part of the panel because he had to apologize to me. But it wasn't a real apology, but he needed to get that sound clip out.
Yeah.
And it was part of the process. So I am one that is very wary of redemption tours because, and honestly, they're all being done for one reason, because the person wants to come back into the industry.
Yes.
You're not doing a redemption tour because you're done with gaming or you're done with acting. You're doing it because it's the only way you know how to either make money or be influential or live up to your full potential, and that's why you're doing a redemption tour. So,
well,
yeah.
I have a solution for you. Let's just take that Twitter feed and that whole tell-all and get Jameson Stone's side of it, or Jameson Light.
Well, that's the whole thing here. Is Jameson has pretty much just stepped out of the public eye because
no, he's still in the public eye. He's on Facebook, constantly posting his new videos.
But he's staying away from the whole BS.
Yeah.
Because basically, to kind of give an idea of what happened here, folks, is in this interview, it was even horribly edited. It was highly edited, highly scripted. They stayed away from topics and questions that should have been asked of her. And it was basically just her blaming everybody, including her Kickstarter followers, for her problems.
Yeah.
And, you know, the bottom, to me, the whole thing.
Wait a minute. So she's blaming her Kickstarter followers for giving her money.
She was blaming them in the interview for being mean to her.
For actually wanting what they paid for, yes.
Like she said, I don't have to tolerate that from nobody about being mean and rude to me.
If you take my money, you get I get to give you some lip.
And you don't even, if you don't, whole point. It's one thing if the creator is giving updates and trying to keep the people informed, then that's a little moderation. But even she admits that she has not done anything because every time I do, they're mean to me. Like they say mean things about me. And it's like, for those of you who don't know what happened here was this. Life was going great for Satine and Jameson, especially with the big red wedding. You know, the wedding that they had where they shut down the entire bar area that Eric talked about.
Yes.
At DragonCon. What happened was this is what started. Satine and Jameson hired this tattoo artist from the East Coast to fly out to California and give him a tattoo. Well, I guess they not only stiffed him, they treated him like utter shit. So this guy goes back, probably has a long flight home, and thought about it and goes, I ain't putting up with this shit. So he made a Twitter post about it, and that then opened the floodgates, and other people said, wait a minute here. I did editing for Satine. She didn't pay me. Then another person came up, because I have screenshots, and another person came up and then was talking about how they do creative writing for her, and her Kickstarter was never paid. And it just turned into this. Turned out there was like a dozen or so people that got taken for thousands by them. And then they started showing the threats by Satine, like, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
I'll be believed over you.
Yeah, I'll make you nothing. Or it was Jameson saying, do you know who Satine is? She'll make sure you never work in the industry again. Mm-hmm. And people who had contracts were not. when she, on the other side, I will say in the interview, she says, "Well, everybody got paid." Well, but they didn't get paid full. They didn't get paid what they were promised. They
That's
might have
right.
gotten, "Hey, you're going to take 50 cents on the dollar and be happy and walk away."
Okay, now I have to bring up something. And Edward Kopp gave me permission to use his name and this post. Edward Kopp today messaged Eric a few days ago.
I think a few days ago, my daughter-in-law has been over,
Okay,
so I
but
don't.
a day or
my
so
timing
ago, Edward messaged Eric, and today I messaged Ed and said, "Hey, you talked to Eric. Ed wanted to come on the show in defense of Satine. I will say that for openness and everything." And Edward did promise to send me today a basically kind of like a written out thing. Now, Edward is not on the show right now, and the reason why is that when I got his document, it was 18 pages in a Google Doc and 22 pages in a Word doc in defense of Satine. And he brought up many, many salient points. And he did say, "Don, you will not agree with this." And I do not agree with his summation. I'll say that for the record. Again, I'm doing this in the interest of openness and honesty here. But we're not having Edward on. And the reason why is we're not trying to hide from him or hide his opinion. The problem I have is just there's four of us on the screen right now. To add a fifth person and to have that level of, I mean, Edward does blame pretty much everybody for Satine's bad behavior except really Satine.
and honestly, to put it another way too, this whole episode would have been Satine. I wouldn't have been bouncing out
Yeah.
at 9 o'clock to go host my Discord. It would have been an all-night affair.
Yeah.
And the logistics of that wasn't viable. But and like Don said, listen, my opinion, and again, my opinion is that this is a redemption tour. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that much of what she said about her trials and tribulations in life and why she is where she is isn't true. But just because it's true doesn't mean it's not. You're not making excuses, okay? And one thing that I want to point out is that this Kickstarter was late, 3 months before she got married to Jameson Stone at the Grand Geneva at GaryCon. So getting divorced had nothing to do with why the Kickstarter was late. Because
Well, she also claims that she was broke, Eric. And let's keep in mind one thing. The woman just spent 8 months in Bali.
I'd be broke.
Yeah, but that's what she does. She goes, "Well, I'm broke and I got no money." It's like, girl, you were in Bali for 8 months posting on your Instagram your resorts that you're staying at and your hour-and-a-half long foot massages and your artistic retreats. That shit ain't free.
Mm-hmm.
Well, isn't she going for a PhD now?
Oh, something like that or some crap. And the other thing is, and for those of you, and this is for Edward, I am right now giving permission for Edward if he would like to do his own video in response to this. I will not take offense to it, Ed. I encourage you to do a response video to this. You have a right to defend her. I respect that. But on the same token, you know, I feel sorry for Satine in the things that she has experienced in life that she alleges as a child. Because there was some abuse allegations made. And if true, and I'm just saying, if true, I feel for her because I have 4 daughters and I would absolutely kill the son of a bitch for one of my kids. But on the same token, you cannot blame your upbringing on how you treat people now. That's a conscious decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
There are some people in jail who were like, yeah, I was abused as a kid, so therefore I had to abuse. Well, not everybody who was abused has abused. So, blaming bad behavior on abuse doesn't ring true.
That's like me going, you know what I'm going to do? I decided that I'm going to start screwing everybody who gives me money in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And by the way, I went through this horrible thing with new TSR. It was absolutely horrible, and
that's why you do it.
no.
But
You know?
wait! You just said you're going to screw for money? I'm sorry.
But it's not going to invest. It's not going to involve fists or pee or poo.
I can see the anonymous email now.
Oh my God.
Bad Mike says she said an admirer paid for her trip to Bali. Bullshit.
Wait. And you know what? Listen, I have to remember too. Satine was also part of the Picorni Satine Kickstarter. Send us to Iceland and we'll game on site type of deal. And it was going to be a whole series of basically.
Oh, was that her?
That was her.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
guys, if you want, all four of us, if you guys want to who wants to do a Kickstarter? I'll fly to the Netherlands and play in front of windows. If you guys want.
play in the castle, damn it! I mean,
the Cotswolds, yes.
So, and I mean, I don't even know what happened with that. I'm sure they went. I'm sure it fulfilled. But
she went all over the place, playing in exotic places and everything.
Yeah. I have one question concerning this admirer that paid for the Bali trip.
Yeah.
Did this admirer live in Bali himself?
I don't know. Bad Mike, does she ever say it was just an admirer? Do we know who it is or what?
I don't think we know.
Diana says by admire, do we mean Patreon or patron,
John? Oops, I didn't mean that.
Yeah.
Dear
Bad
John.
Mike says customer. Yeah, I never know. It could be.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah, Bad Mike.
We are riffing on this, and it doesn't mean that any of us are going and what she went through when she was younger was horrible. Okay.
Yes.
And we're not saying that Jameson wasn't abusive. I from what I've heard, they were both abusive.
They were both narcissistic, abusive asses to each other.
I've gotten this from people. 1 degree of separation on the. You can't talk,
Eric. Yeah. Real quick, she busted herself in her Instagram posts. Mm-hmm. She posts this thing saying this was like a week after we got married, and this is Jameson ripping on me, and he ripped into her. But she failed to take out the part where he said, "I cannot believe that you screwed that guy, and we weren't even married a week yet."
Oh!
So in her little failure to edit properly, he's talking about her screwing a guy, and she wasn't even married a week to him.
Wow!
Now, real quick.
Oh, that's.
If I found out my new wife screwed a guy and we were only married a week, you might see an Instagram post from Don where I texted something pretty mean.
Mm-hmm. Are people taking numbers?
But real quick, I have to say something here real quick that this is really interesting. Mr. Gunn offers an interesting show. Dirty and Dragons with Don. Hey, why not?
Oh, that's the money. I can do that.
It's just you have here is I think the thing with Satine and Jameson was this. There's only so much ego that can fit in a room.
Yeah.
And they were just so, Jameson, you got to give Jameson one thing. The guy has muscles and a six-pack, and he was good at showing them and all that. Satine was, thin, cute with their elven ears and the makeup and the gold flecks and all that. And they were just two egos that just went,
Glenn,
let's face it, everybody kissed their asses, people. I'm sorry. Everybody kissed their asses. Look what happened at Gary Con.
I know.
Right?
And that's again, I don't understand how on this interview she blames her divorce for the Kickstarter not fulfilling, but she didn't. When the Kickstarter was late when she got married, so they got divorced a year and a half later. The math it didn't math up. It didn't math up. And by the way, I was saying, Glenn. That's what you call a pump and dump marriage. That is
The comment of the night goes to Mr. Glenn Hellstrom.
I gotta say, old man Grognard, when you come out swinging, boom.
That was an uppercut.
We have to have I got to create a graphic because whenever we get comments like this, we got to have the comment of the night award. Come on.
All right, no.
Bonus EXP for Glenn Hellstrom.
Going back to the.
I'm actually going to make a graphic called comment of the night.
Yeah,
that was worth bonus EXP in my book.
Yeah.
Going back to the Bali thing, that they were saying that they, there was an admirer that gave them a trip to Bali and stuff. My thought on that is, hey, anyone wants to throw me a bunch of money, I'm good for that. I got bills to pay.
But
Steve, you were the one that was paying for it, man. Come on.
But Steve, are you willing to go to Bali and run around with a thong on, doing Instagram posts?
Yeah.
All right.
No. Oh, you don't want to see me in a thong, believe me.
I'm about to unfollow you on X.
I was told X for the right reason, I guess, huh? That's what
Mr. Glenn makes a good point. He says, Don, Satine needs a wallet with a six-pack. Yeah, exactly. Elf porn. You know what? This is something I'm going to say something real quick. And it's going to sound horrible, but it does surprise me that she doesn't have an OnlyFans. And I'm not being facetious. Maybe she does. We don't know about it. But I'm really surprised that there's not an OnlyFans out there with some type of weird elf fetish porn thing happening, because she probably make good money off of it. Don't look at me. I'd make a horrible fat elf in a thong and such. I would not.
Well, here's the funny part is, if she did that, it would be really popular. And the thing that's funny is it would be popular among the guys that are into furries. That's the thing. Not even the people that are into elf. She'd be drawing in the people that do the furry stuff.
Are you saying she doesn't shave? I mean, I'm confused, man. I'm really.
No. I'm talking the type of audience.
I'm just. I
break out the weed whip, boys. We're gonna go diving.
You make me wonder sometimes, Steve. I'm
trying
to follow
Steve
you
for 17 years.
You gotta be a rabbit hole, and it's dangerous.
Let's see. Dia says D&D. It's Dragon Might D&D, and I'll win the fight. Mr. Gunn says, Eric, are you going to get a Tenki award this year?
We'll see. The Tenkies maybe next year. We're working on.
We ought to do Tenkies for WizardCon.
We might do Tenkies for WizardCon. That would be a lot of fun.
It'd be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Dave Thompson, thank you for taking a hit for the rest of us. By the way.
Seen some of her pornos worse than her D&D, LOL. Yeah, actually, when you go ahead and do a chat GPT, Eric, thank you. Who is Satine Phoenix? It mentions the whole fisting and liquid
water
play
sports
stuff.
Water sports, yeah.
Water sports, yeah.
We're not talking water skiing and.
We're not talking about water skiing, squirt guns, although it technically could be used. Never mind.
I guess. Put that back in your pants.
I'm glad I'm wearing glasses.
Oh, I'm the only one that's not, and I actually do.
That's right. Mr. Gunn says, at Don, yep, use B-list starlets all seem to have OnlyFans pages these days. Denise Richards and daughter. You know what? I saw somewhere there's this talk show where the guy has women on, and he talks like all the OnlyFans women. Some of these women are making like $350,000, $400K a month.
Oh, easy.
I mean, holy cow, sex sells. I guess it does. Hell, maybe I should get that G-string out. I know there's someone on G-strings. Bruce Lombardo of Dick's Division. How you doing? Real quick, Bruce, Dick's Division. You fucking Fort Dix, New Jersey? Just asking, seriously. It's always sad when Satine enters a conversation again. Hey, you know what? It was news because she's on a redemption tour. She did an interview. The interview was horribly done. It was definitely catered to make her look the best she could. Bad Mike says, totally unrelated. The link to my furry page will be up shortly. I don't know why, Bad Mike. I just can't picture you watching furries. I got to stick up for you.
Rumor has it that Bad Mike's posed as the devil in a thong.
No. His brother is the one in the thong. Mike, thankfully, no thong.
Okay.
I'm not saying his brother in the tongue
It's
is
pretty
anything.
bad when we want to go to North Texas strictly for the fucking midnight auction. Oh man, Whataburger furries. Mike Burke, I agree. Glenn Houseman says, "How about the Dinkies? Justin would win. No problem. The Dinkies, yeah. With your little problem there, little big guy." Mr. Gunn, Bad Mike 3. Yes, you're a bear. I don't even want to know.
Mr. Gunn, you've been looking at what we've not been looking at. So
I don't even want to know. Bruce Lombardo, nothing is going on in the RPG landscape. Satine is a subject of discussion. Should we ignore it and talk about the joys of 4th edition D&D instead? It's a lot less painless. It's a lot less painful 4th edition is than watching Satine. I'll tell you what. I think I'd rather sit through a 4E campaign than Satine. But bears only, no water sports. Mr. Gunn, yikes. Mike Burke, shame. Almost raised my price to $1. Almost. Diana says bears only sounds like a dating app. You know what? You probably can make some money off that. Bears only.
It's a real growl.
Are you into hairy backs and bad breath?
oh,
Bad Mike, or I'm getting the names all fucked up here. Mr. Gunn says, "At Bad Mike, I thought bears liked otters. I don't even know what an otter is.
I don't even know what they mean.
I don't want to know." Scott says, "I'll be in Michigan in November." Yeah, we gotta go have lunch or something together, my friend. I was raised a poor child. Says, "I didn't miss the Satine part. I've seen both interviews over on Pickle Dragon. Is that the place, Pickle Dragon? There? Yeah. They basically just kissed her ass. They catered to it. Sorry, but you know what?
Listen, that channel, to their credit, has had Joe Manganiello and Luke Gygax on, I think, multiple times.
They only got 2,000 followers.
Apparently they. I don't know. Listen, I'm just saying they've got some connection somewhere. So
Well, when you're kissing ass, make sure you're using a little tongue with it.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's obvious, and I'm not saying their channel or their subscriber count dictates, but from what I've seen, what they do is they don't have the balls like we did. Like when what's his name, Ken Whitman came on and wanted all the rules. I told Ken, I showed you guys a chat. I told Ken Whitman, ain't no rules, pal. You're coming on. We're not scripting shit.
Right.
You
and
know,
it's going to be live.
Exactly. This is scripted crap here.
Right. And the reason why you do it live, and when you do it live, you have to have a heavy hand on the chat in case you got a troll or two coming in. We've had that. But you do it live so you aren't accused of carrying anybody's water. Okay? You want to, listen, on Talking Crit on Wednesday night, Mike, I, and Jim, we have had some guests that, and by the way, they asked to come on. We don't go reaching out to people that, are looking for redemption. We don't.
Yeah.
They asked to come. If you're going to ask to come on your redemption tour, then you are going to be in the seat that's going to be the hot seat, and if you do well, that's great. But this channel that we're talking about, the Pickle Dragon, they're doing their interviews pre-recorded and edited.
Not well at all either.
Yeah, when there's a fade in and Satine is answering a question that was never asked, and it was in the middle of a sentence, I'm like, what had to get cut?
Yeah, it's literally like she's talking like, I went to the store and then the pickled dog went ahead and said hello. It's like, what? Wait a minute. You guys are mixing two different things together here.
Yeah, but and then that means that something was
edited out.
Not appropriate, I guess.
Didn't meet her criteria. So
you think she sat there and had the band hammer on the editing button?
Oh, absolutely. She had total control of the interview. It was obvious.
Yeah.
It was 100% obvious. I mean, they softballed her so much. And even when there was chances, I was like, oh, I wish I was the interviewer. She opened the door heavily there. They just totally ignored it and let her go on. And then the editing, like I said, she'd be talking, and you could tell like there was like then she moved to something else. So it's like the two splits didn't go right.
Yeah.
Just horribly done. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. It's like I did with my little lecture to Dave Simpson. If you're going to purport news and you're going to purport information and giving people facts, sometimes facts are unpleasant. I know there's people in this chat that don't agree with everything we chat about and say, but you know what? It's not bullshit. We tell the truth. And, when you're interviewing somebody, you have an obligation to your listener base to ask the tough questions that are there. I mean, they didn't touch her she touched the Kickstarter. And they let her just ramble. So, yeah.
No, Jason Elliott's in the room. By the way, Jason, no. She denied. She's not. Nobody's getting money back. Okay? She's already said that. There are no refunds coming. There is no money. Nobody's getting money back. But everybody got paid.
She claimed she fulfilled the Kickstarters.
Hey, yeah, right.
But she's still working on it. She said, but
that's the whole point. That's what she says. She says she fulfills the Kickstarters, and then she in the same like 5 minutes later talks about how she's in the middle of fulfilling them, or there's not fully fulfilled. And it's like these are ins for the interview to go. But wait a minute, Satine, you just said 5 minutes ago that the Kickstarters are all fulfilled.
Yeah.
Or even confronting her when she says it, because it's obvious they're not.
Yeah, and apparently she loses her desire to work on the Kickstarter when people get mad at her.
Yes.
On Kickstarter.
Oh, waboo-hoo.
Yeah.
You're late. People are going to be mad.
Yeah.
Yes.
They lost their money.
Amen, Titus. There's a joke somewhere in softball.
Glenn says, sounds like 60 Minutes did the Satine interview. Oh, yep. Glenn, you're hot. Glenn, you better be this hot tomorrow night.
Yep.
You're hot. You're hot.
You better,
and I'll tell you right now.
Don's joining us. You better be hitting 11.
Oh, that's why I'm joining you tomorrow, and I forgot. Sorry about that. I'll be sure to be available. But keep in mind one thing: these interviewers had a chance to really use a closed fist with her, and they didn't.
So remember that joke when we were
you were going for a joke there
about like the hand and a loose and then can you clap? I think you could clap. That's all I'm gonna say. Or
I think you could sing opera in there.
So
Scott, have a good night, my friend.
I like Bad Mike's comment here.
I'm getting to it. I'm still working on my OnlyFans page. Yeah, there's something out there for gamers. I imagine there is. Bad Mike says, I'm still working on my doctor. I left school in 1995. That's right. You know what she is? She is so desperate to be adored again. She wants to be adored. She wants to be the center of attention. It's like, honey,
she has Edward Kopp.
Yeah, but the thing is, there's sometimes you go too far. And it's not the fact that, and I'm going to defend Satine one way. I don't care about the elf ears. I don't care about her little follower group at Gen Con. Great. She did that great. Made a lot of money. But listen, honey, you fucked over dozens of people who trusted you and worked with you, and you took their money, and then you demean them and threaten them by you. Who will they believe, you or me type shit? It's like, sorry, but karma knocked on your door, honey.
She should get together with Whitman and compare notes.
Oh, he's going by Ken Whitman again on Facebook, by the way. He changed his name back to Ken Whitman.
Oh, I guess it was Whit was getting too much.
Yeah. Mr. Gunn says, Don, I lose my motivation to go to work every morning at 7 a.m., but then my motivation for electricity, food, water, and trash pickup. You know what? Isn't that a bitch? You got to pay the bills,
What you need, Mr. Gunn, is an admirer in Bali.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Blue DM says only crits. Who wants to go in on that with me? We can start. What's your fetish? A D20? A Dirty Dungeon Master's Guide? And only crits will be your guide.
You'll be amazed at where I can pop a D4 out of.
That's right. Oh, not golf balls or ping pong balls? Bloop. Cover your glasses, folks.
Only crits. It's about shoving the D20 where.
I'll tell you what, if you can fit that up there, Tom, I imagine there's someone's going to pay good money for
I'll
that
pay
shit.
$20 to not see that.
You just send me the 20 now.
Don, yes, Don. She wants to be adored because she's a narcissist. Yes, she is, I believe. That's just my professional, uneducated opinion. Death Angel Shadow says, Bad Mike, I started college in 1990, took 25-year plan, but got off a year early. Good behavior of my associates. Bad Mike says, but Don, they had not gotten the interview if they were able to ask legit questions. Very true, Bad Mike. They crunched the numbers and decided it was worth being laughed at to get the numbers this interview brought in. What, they brought maybe 2 or 3 subs to it? I mean, don't get me wrong. We're not kicking casses and subs here, but at least we don't bullshit people to get them.
Right. I mean, listen, I was raised by a poor orc child. So it's overall, it's a good channel. It might be there. The quality of the video seems to be fine. I mean, I peeked at a few other videos they've done over the years. But if it's not reflecting in getting, retention, it says something.
Jason, yes, she did. She early on went on this thing where she was selling also her games and such. She had this big auction to go to. What she was doing was she was going to take a break from society and go and find her inner self. It was a trip to bring her inner peace back and reflect on her bad deeds. I'm being serious. That's what she basically went on. And it's just been a full year of her. I went to this resort and I did that and I did that. But then I got hoarse because I actually had to breathe exhaust fumes because I was on a scooter. Seriously, she did that.
I thought that the vocal was due to
trauma, punching.
Yeah. No, that's what I from her marriage.
I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jameson. Don't know.
But
there was a reference to it in one of her Instagram posts. Glenn Hallstrom says, only Chris, where Satine knows about 12 different erotic things to do with pencil dice. Pencil dice! Here we go. Are they being fulfilled? Did someone get their pencil dice from Wit?
Not yet.
Dave Towns says, bye. See you, Dave.
Dave, I'll see you in a moment.
Yep. Yeah, it's 9:00. So she went to Bali, had a fling. Tell us much detail about it. Yes, she also has a new man. Evidently, she's posting images with him for this week. I don't know. Maybe it's this week, this month.
I'm assuming that with the new man, she's learned not to have a side gig.
Don't know. Mike Burke says, turns out inner self is just like outer self. Bummer. Amen, my friend. You cannot find something that's there. Yes, Mr. Gunn, you're correct. Didas says she's so enlightened now. What's the claim? Don't know. I think the problem was a lot of people were enlightened by her. About her. That's the problem here. A lot of people did get enlightened. A non-apology to her. Bad Mike says, yes, you're right. Jason says, I think my inner self is in Monaco. I can go find him at the casinos. Let's see. Only Crits Dice is a website. Oh, damn it. Is it? Crap. Unfortunately, Chris is bummer, man. Bad Mike, yes, we call that FU tour, and we're getting ready to tone this down because it is past 9:00. And I was raised a poor child, and Jason Elliott is going to have the final say. Jason, for the night, you say, I would like to find inner peace in a new Ferrari, please. So would I. But everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me in this so many business ideas. OnlyFans for gamers. And Steve will be doing our first thong.
He'll wear it on his head. Like it's a
yep. And Tom luckily is wearing headphones, so he'd be right now being in the middle of a divorce, probably.
Well, if I'm wearing a thong, you're paying for people's therapy.
Yes. And you know what? I never seen a guy stick his headphones on so soon, so fast when I mentioned Satine Phoenix, and he was like, so.
There's a toddler in the room.
Very true. That's what we warned you. Gentlemen, thank you, everybody. Everybody in chat, thank you very much. Jason, Glenn, Race Pork Chad, Bad Mike, everybody, thank you very much. Again, you guys are what makes the show. Next week, we are going to be real quick. We are going to be having Joe Block, the Greyhawk Grognard, on a special Tuesday night video. I just found out. We're going to help him. No, excuse me, not next week, the 16th. Tuesday
after,
the 16th. After his big release, we're going to be having Joe Block on. We're going to be talking to Joe about his release and such. And we're going to be giving an update that we did today on our Wizard Tower Games site. So if you go to Wizard Tower Games Facebook, you'll see a press release that we did. We're going to be carrying also Joe Block's materials.
Nice.
So good stuff are happening. So everybody, thank you very much. Mike Burke, I think you're new to the show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Everybody have a good night. Eric, speak easy, correct, right now?
Yep.
All right, guys.
Discord.
All right, guys. Everyone have a good night, and we will talk to you next week.
Okay.